is going on, everyone? Bruce from What's Popping here. Now You See Me, Now You Don't is about to hit South African screens and screens around the world. And thanks to our friends over at Empire Entertainment, we got a chance to sit down and see the film early. But an even bigger treat that was in store for us is we're getting to chat with one of the stars of the film, South Africa's very own Thabang. Thabang, how you doing, man? Awesome to see you here.
All good, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. We can go back and forth. I think it's been an exciting day. It's an exciting time to finally get and chat to the Thabang Molaba. Seeing you yesterday on screen was really, really exciting. I mean, this film is full of intrigue, mystery, magic, and a lot of like little hints layered here and there that kind of culminate into something. I feel like if we look at your journey over the last couple of months, I went back on your Instagram feed and I was checking out all these little breadcrumbs you were leaving. Obviously, couldn't talk about the film. It's about to drop. Now that you can speak about it, what is it like to finally let it all out?
Yeah, man. I'm just like, finally it's happening because it's been a long year of just waiting and frustration. I was too excited for it. It's my first Hollywood production. Obviously, I'm ecstatic. I just wanted to get released, and finally it's happening. I'm super excited and happy. It's not just a milestone for me, it's just a milestone for South Africa as a whole, so that's exciting. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's one of those films I think as South Africans we sit down and we're going to really, really enjoy. I didn't realize how much South African influence would be in the film. But I mean, let's talk about it. So you're playing a South African in the film. Obviously, a lot of noise has been made about Rosamund and how she's portrayed the South African accent. Yeah. You coming into a film like this, you're coming in with all these massive Hollywood stars. You're seeing Morgan Freeman on the call sheet. Yeah. It must be super intimidating. But at the same time, did that like South African background already kind of endear them to you as you were coming in? They're like, not only have we cast this guy for a reason, but also he's our inside knowledge dude. He's going to make sure we're keeping it right on set. Yeah. A part of them being excited was that, exactly that, especially with Rosamund Pike, because, like you said, it's a difficult dialect to, perfect. So seeing her doing it so well, it was just, amazing, man. And, having to give her a few pointers, just a few. I'm not going to take credit from William, her dialect coach. It was just a couple of tweaks, little things, adding South African flavor in there. And yeah, it was just exciting, man. Yeah.
And I think that you speak about that South African flair, and that's something that, as a South African in the audience, guys, if you're in South Africa, if you're in the world, go and see this film. It's just, it is so much fun. Yeah. But those all South Africanisms really slip in there. How much, license did you get from the director to be like, hey, listen, I think this would be cool. You got to balance being on a set with a whole lot of different people, with all your background knowledge. How did you play into that?
Yeah, I had full license from the director. I obviously couldn't do too much because it still had to make sense for the film and make sure that, the global audience is still going to understand what's going on and what I'm saying. It had to be just, like 10%, I'd say. And there was actually a lot of scenes where I added South African flavor, but some of them didn't make the cut, but it's part of the game. But yeah, I was just so happy that he gave me that license to, add that flavor in there. It was, I was like, okay, look, I'm going to have fun with this,
I mean, you can see it, and it comes across on screen how much fun you guys are clearly having filming this project. You've got amazing action set pieces that you're a part of. What are some of those highlights for you? I mean, you get into fights with some huge characters. You get to bring, your experience from Netflix shows here in South Africa over to them. What is it like stepping into a world that is actually constructed in these sets that are just mind-blowing?
Man, I was just starstruck the whole time. I remember thinking to myself, who gets to do this? Who gets to, fight Woody Harrelson?
Man.
Wow, I'm gonna have the time of my life here. But it overall it was just, so surreal for me. Seeing, getting on set, seeing this set being built to mimic the actual building in Hungary, that for me is just so crazy. It was like, these people are actually building the set from scratch, and it looks so real. And here I am with these stars performing this. Wow, let's go.
But it must feed back into it, because I'm sure there's so much pressure when you're standing across from Jesse Eisenberg or these huge stars. That must help a lot, having that thing to act off. It's not just a phenomenal actor in front of you, but a whole world that you're immersing yourself.
No, for sure. It helps you improve as well. I got exposed to seeing the level work ethic that I need to put in as well, and what level I need to be at to, you know, properly interact with these people. So it basically inspired me to become better and pushed me as well. You know, if you're in a great team, you also do well. So yeah, that's what it was for me.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those films. I think the ensemble is what brings it all together.
Exactly.
And the fact that everyone slips into their roles so very well and brings something unique to it.
Yeah, you kind of like, you know, become calm as well, and seeing that everyone is so calm doing their own thing, you kind of like, okay, so I'm safe. It's safe here. I can also calm down and just gel into it. Yeah,
and then getting that leeway from the director as well to be like, hey, play a bit.
Yeah, play a bit. You know, that was super fun. I'm so glad he let me do that, because I feel like it makes the film more relatable to South Africans. You know, like, that's such a South African thing to say. You know,
No, those breadcrumbs are definitely there, and those subtle hints to South Africanisms, I think, are what are going to really please South African audiences.
100%.
Without losing international audiences, like you said, it's going to be like that subtle how's it at the beginning of a phone call or something like that. Really sort of pushes the narrative forward in a fun way that South Africans relate to, but everyone around the world is going to sort of go, hey, that's a cool flavor. I like what they're cooking with over there with that linguistic style.
Yeah, no, 100%, brother.
So I mean, obviously stepping into a world like this, it's the third film now. You know, they've kind of established their methodology. A lot of the actors have got their you know, they riff off of each other. You've had the Four Horsemen, you know, there time and time again. I'm fascinated by life on set, and I wanted to find out from your side. You've worked on big projects. You're not it's not your first rodeo with a big company with Netflix. What do you think, you know, that these international programs could learn from the way we do things in South Africa? And what can we learn from the way they're running these big international projects? Is like a reciprocal learning that we can sort of work on there?
No, I think it's more us learning from them, you know, because they do this thing a whole lot better than we do. Of course, like, there's factors to look at, like their population. I mean, they're like the entertainment hub of the world. You know, so pretty much we need to be learning from them. There's a lot I can touch on, man. You know, I don't want to put my local productions in a bad light like that, but there's still a long way for us to go, and that we can learn from them.
But I think it's great you bring that experience back, and I think you know, that's a really cool thing about it. You said at the beginning of the interview that it's really something awesome for South Africa that we have people involved in these projects, because you come back with that, and I'm sure there's parts you can take out of it that aren't necessarily, oh, you have to be in Abu Dhabi shooting, or you have to have a set that has this much set design. What are some of the things that you feel like you can bring back that we can sort of share with South African crews and that are working on more limited budgets?
I'd say, for South African productions that are working with, I think, man, budget decides everything. You know, I don't think there are things that I can bring back here for local productions to learn, whereas budgets are not the same. You know, like, maybe if they had the same budgets, then I could say, okay, we need to do 1, 2, 3 right. But because there's a difference in budgets, it's just difficult to be like, okay, you guys should learn this and that. But it's like, where's the budget for that?
For sure.
You know, so
can't punch Woody Harrelson or take a punch from him if he's not there.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of those fight sequences, you know, the choreographing those, blocking those, how does that, you know, on a production like this where you're working with massive stars, how does that elevate when you now not just taking a punch from or a stuntman or something like, you've got Woody Harrelson in front of you? What is it like in that moment where they're about to yell action and you're about to either take a punch or throw a punch at, you know, an icon?
You kind of feel like, man, I just hope I don't hurt him, you know, because otherwise then you're messing up the whole production, you know. It's just that level of intricacy and being careful not to hurt the other, you know, artist. It's just there, and you have to get it right. And obviously there's rehearsals which prep you for all those sequences. So by the time you get on set to film it, you're just ready. You know what's happening. You know what you need to do. You know how hard you need to throw the punch to sell it as well. You know how hard you need to take the punch to sell it as well. So like it's all worked out. Like there's little room for error. Yeah,
no, for sure. I feel like it's all elevated on those sets. It really you know, everything just goes up a million.
Exactly.
Do you feel like that as an actor is a better environment to work in, where the pressure's cooked up a bit more, or do you prefer it more sort of laid back, you know, hey, if I miss one take here or there, it's not the end of the world? Or is it better to have like, man, I've got these guys in front of me? Does it raise your game, or do you feel like it
I definitely think, constructive pressure needs to be there. I think personally I do better with his constructive pressure, because it kind of like pushes me to level up my game as well. You kind of have that feeling of like, okay, we're not playing here, this is some serious stuff, So I need that from now and then to kind of like push myself. So definitely I think constructive pressure necessary.
Yeah, for sure. And looking back on it now, I mentioned the huge set pieces. Is there a scene that stands out from an action point of view and then from an acting point of view? Are there sort of two moments that you go, just based on action, this was insane, I'm never going to forget it, and maybe a small acting moment that you just caught from another actor that was like, mind blown?
For me personally, I'd say the sets, man. How they build the sets, for me, I was like on set being like, they literally took this building and replicated it and made it look real with just, I can't remember the material they used, but it looks so real. It's like when you touch it, it's like, it looks like a brick, but when you feel it, it doesn't feel so. So that for me was like, oh, mind blowing. And the lights they used as well, like they had to take big cranes to light up the set, and man, you don't see that here, so that for me was like mind blowing.
Just the scale of it.
Yeah, exactly. The scale of it, yes, it was just mind blowing to me.
And an acting moment that just stood out to you that you were like, something small, something big, just
definitely the scene where we are with Jesse Eisenberg. He did some improvising in there. And for me, when I was watching that, I was like, man, it takes a genius to come up with something like that, on the mark, with immediate effect. I was just mind blown. I was like, what? And he kept doing it differently with each take. I'm like, man, this guy is a powerhouse, so that was really amazing.
And I mean, as someone reacting to that, does that throw you, in that scene, or does it make it more natural for you to sort of roll with it?
No, you kind of have to roll with it, because you have to stay in that moment, and I think that's a huge part of acting as well, staying in that moment and going with it. And in a real way, I feel like it's even better, because then your genuine reaction is brought out, because you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, and the camera picks that up, and it's like, it's even better. We've had so many moments in films that happened, by mistake, and they were brilliant. I think improvising does that a lot. No,
for sure. And I mean, it's a phenomenal film. The performance is incredible. The physicality you brought to the role, I really, really enjoyed.
Thank you.
What can we expect next from you? I mean, hopefully it's a big launch pad for you. I'm getting a lot of eyes on Thabang Molaba. What is the next? Can you talk about anything, or are there more NDAs and tricks?
I can't. All I can say is that there's a lot coming, and there's more to expect. But right now, I'm just trying to be where I am and just be, and exist and take all of this in and, be present. So that's all I'm trying to do right now. As for the future, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Now you see me fall.
Exactly.
And
maybe. Maybe.
Thabang, it's been awesome chatting with you. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate
awesome
it.
Chatting
Enjoy
with
the
you
rest of the release. Soak it all in. I hope it's an awesome time for you now, finally getting to chat about it. Thank you for chatting to us about the film. And guys, now you see me, now you don't. Hitting cinemas soon, and make sure you check it out.